My name is Ken Schwartz of Precise Sharpening, and what I'm going to do is to video a Nubatama Waterstone. This is the Ume 120 grit stone. As you can see, this is the Nubatama symbol. That's the Ume as opposed to the bamboo or take, and this is a 120 grit stone. So what I'm going to do with this is take advantage of and this is my first time using the stone, so I strongly suspect that this will be a rapid cutting, fairly porous stone. So we're going to do the initial testing to see how quickly it saturates, and then what I'm going to be doing is I have a Kershaw knife, and as you can see, it is not sharp at all. This was a sample unit. It's a Kershaw pocket knife, and as you can see, it's completely dull. There's no cutting ability whatsoever on it. So we're going to establish a bevel starting from nothing at all, and I'll talk a little bit about bevel establishing as well, and some ideas regarding burr formation as we go about this. So again, I expect that this is going to soak up water rather quickly, so let's get started and see how this works. So again, quite quickly it soaks it up, as you can see. So we're going to let it run just a little bit and let it get things going. And then we'll add a little water as we go as necessary. So this will be initial testing, and again we're going to establish a bevel from scratch. So let's see how it's soaking. Okay, it's starting to hold some water. So it actually, for a very coarse stone, it is saturating reasonably quick. Now, I wouldn't take a great deal of effort to saturate the stone because it will empty out as well as it fills up. So let's not go too terribly long here. And as you can see, it's starting to hold its water. So let's get going on this, and I'll just add a little water from here as we go. So I'm going to establish an angle, and okay, so let's see how this stone feels. And again, we're going to periodically add a little water to it as we go. So one thing that's interesting with this knife is it's been blackened, so we will see the bevel stand out rather quickly. So let's see. All right, so there we go. We're already starting to see a bevel starting to get established. We can see it's a moderately coarse scratch pattern. Do a little bit more towards the tip. Now, one of the things that a number of people do is they'll say, well, let's go on one side and just keep going and going until we get a burr. And I would suggest that that's probably not the best approach, because essentially what you're doing is you're going to be grinding a 100-0 grind, and then when you get the burr, you get the burr all the way on one side. So that's not where the burr is going to, or the edge is actually going to wind up. So what I would suggest is that when you're initially establishing a burr, work a little on one side. Don't wait for a burr. There's no burr yet. There's no fatigued metal on the knife, obviously, because it's a brand new knife. But start on the opposite side, and let's get burr formation to occur somewhere near the middle of the knife for a 50-50 grind, rather than going all the way to one side or the other. So we're getting a consistent, rapid rate of cutting. I'm applying a moderately firm amount of pressure. And it does develop a little bit of mud, but I am pressing somewhat firmly as well. So let's see where we are here. Okay, well, we now have a burr. So we now have the two sides meeting rather than making a 100-0 grind. And let's see how this is looking. Alright, so there, you can see it's a little narrower here, so we'll work a little bit more there. And there. And so we now have burr formation on the knife. And we do have an edge. So let's go just a little bit more and reduce the amount of burr before we would go on to another stone. So again, a little bit more towards the end to even out the bevel angle. And again, since I'm using a constant angle, you can see that the bevel width is dependent upon how much sharpening is being done at any given point on each side of the stone. So here we go. Slight bit of burr on that side. So what we'll do on this side is, instead of going straight down, we lighten up the pressure and go gently and laterally to eliminate burr. There's a much more effective way of eliminating burr than running the edge of the knife through various materials, wine corks, etc., because for one, it's simpler. The stone is right in front of you. And there we go. Now the only thing left to worry about is that the sample now is sharp as opposed to not sharp. So again, we're not going for an extremely fine edge at this point. Let me let you look at it. And you can see it's not an extremely coarse pattern. There's a little bit more work to be done on the tip up here, just to make things level. But as a bevel setter, very aggressive stone. Even though the stone dries out fairly fast, it doesn't load up. You can see that it's very nice. And we've gotten the tip fairly well sharpened, but I'll do a little work on the tip on the top end of it as well. Okay, well, that pretty well takes care of establishing an initial bevel in no time at all. Let's take a quick look at the type of edge we've produced here. So I expect this to be still a fairly toothy sort of edge, good for initial bevel setting and clean cut. Very nice, very fast. This is a stone that will work very well for repair work. This will also work quite well in addition to tip sharpening and taking chips out and initial bevel setting. This stone will work quite well for cleaning up scratches from your diamond lapping plates that you use, also for establishing initial bevels, but the stone is hard enough to where you could use this stone as well for your initial bevel setting. Thank you very much. I hope you have a chance to try and enjoy this stone.